My daughter Sarah cried in the car, thinking she was losing me to something we both were too terrified to name out loud. We were sitting in the parking lot of a restaurant where we'd just had lunch, and I had asked her the same question 4 times in 20 minutes without realizing it. She held the steering wheel with white knuckles, tears running down her face, and said in a broken voice, "Dad, I think we need to see a specialist." That moment, seeing my own daughter looking at me with that mixture of fear and grief, broke something inside me. 6 months later, she cried again, but for a completely different reason. We were sitting in the neurologist's office when he looked at both of us and said something neither of us expected. "Mr. Jack, your brain scan now shows cognitive function comparable to a healthy 52-year-old. Whatever you've been doing, it's working at a level I rarely see." This is exactly what I did, day by day, meal by meal, until my brain came back. The decline had been gradual enough that I convinced myself for months it was just normal aging, nothing to worry about. Everyone forgets things sometimes. But looking back honestly, the signs were unmistakable and terrifying. I would walk into a room and have absolutely no idea why I went there. I'd be mid-sentence and lose the word I was looking for, standing there with my mouth open like a fish. I forgot appointments I'd written down. I'd tell my wife the same story 3 times in one evening. The worst moment, the one that still makes my chest tight when I think about it, was when my granddaughter Emma came running up to me at a family barbecue, and I looked at her sweet face and couldn't pull her name from my memory. I called her sweetheart and honey to cover it up, but I saw the confusion in her eyes, and I knew something was seriously wrong. My doctor ordered a MoCA test, which is the standard cognitive assessment for detecting early memory impairment and dementia. Perfect score is 30. Anything below 26 indicates cognitive impairment. I scored 19. 19 out of 30. The doctor tried to be gentle, but the numbers spoke for themselves. He said we needed to monitor it closely, maybe consider medication, and prepare for the possibility that this would progress. That night I sat in my workshop alone and let myself feel the full weight of what was happening. I was losing my mind, literally, and I didn't know if I could stop it. But I'm a stubborn man, always have been, and I refused to accept that decline was inevitable. I went back to my Blue Zones research with a specific focus. What were centenarians in Okinawa, who have the lowest dementia rates on Earth, doing differently? What I discovered changed everything. Okinawan elders eat something every single night without fail. Something that contains compounds that actually cross the blood-brain barrier and stimulate the growth of new neural connections. It's called the purple sweet potato, and when combined with 2 specific spices, it becomes what Harvard researchers have called the closest thing to a memory pill that exists in food form. Here's the exact protocol I followed. Nothing left out, because precision matters when you're trying to save your brain. Every single night, about 2 hours before bed, I eat exactly 1 medium purple sweet potato, baked at 400 degrees for 45 minutes until it's soft all the way through. I split it open and add 1 tablespoon of coconut oil, half a teaspoon of Ceylon cinnamon, and a 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric mixed with a pinch of black pepper. That's the complete recipe. It costs about $1.20 per serving. It takes 5 minutes to prepare if you don't count baking time. And it brought my brain back from the edge of dementia. Let me explain why this specific combination works. Because understanding the science made me consistent even when I didn't see immediate results. Purple sweet potatoes contain massive amounts of anthocyanins, the same compounds that make blueberries blue and red wine red. But purple sweet potatoes have 3 times the concentration of blueberries. These anthocyanins cross the blood-brain barrier, which most nutrients cannot do, and they directly protect brain cells from oxidative damage while stimulating something called BD, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, which is basically fertilizer for your brain that helps grow new neural connections. The Ceylon cinnamon, and it has to be Ceylon, not the cheap cassia cinnamon, regulates blood sugar and reduces brain inflammation. Studies show it can improve memory scores by up to 18% in just 90 days. The turmeric contains curcumin, which has been shown in multiple studies to reduce the amyloid plaques associated with Alzheimer's disease. But curcumin by itself is poorly absorbed, which is why you need the black pepper. Black pepper contains piperine, which increases curcumin absorption by 2,000%. Not 20%, 2,000%. The coconut oil provides medium-chain triglycerides that your brain can use as immediate fuel, bypassing the glucose metabolism problems that often occur in aging brains. When you eat these ingredients together, in these specific amounts, every single night, you're sending powerful, protective, and regenerative signals directly to your brain. You're not just preventing further decline, you're actually stimulating the growth of new connections and the repair of damaged ones. I started this protocol on a Tuesday night in March, and I committed to 90 days of absolute consistency before I would judge whether it was working. The first 2 weeks, I noticed nothing. Week 3, I slept better, which I didn't realize was connected until later. Week 5, my wife said I seemed sharper in our conversations. Week 7, I realized I'd gone 3 days without forgetting why I walked into a room. Week 9, I played cards with my buddies and remembered every hand we'd played. By week 12, I knew something fundamental had shifted. At the 6-month mark, I asked my doctor to retest me with the MoCA. He was skeptical, but agreed. I scored 26 out of 30. I had gone from cognitively impaired at 19 to the low end of normal at 26. He was stunned, and asked what medications I'd started. When I told him it was just food, a purple sweet potato every night with specific spices, he literally wrote it down and said he was going to research it. I kept going. Every single night, 362 nights a year. The only exceptions being when I was traveling and couldn't get purple sweet potatoes. At 9 months, I requested another test. This time, I scored 29 out of 30. The neurologist, my daughter, insisted I see, ordered a brain scan and compared it to one ID had done 2 years earlier as part of a checkup. He brought both of us into his office, pulled up the images side by side, and showed us that the areas responsible for memory formation were actually more active than they'd been before. That's when my daughter cried tears of relief and joy. She'd been carrying the weight of thinking she was slowly losing her father, and in that moment she got me back. She told me later that she'd been researching memory care facilities in secret, trying to plan for a future where I wouldn't recognize her anymore. Instead, I'm sharper now at 78 than I was at 72. The changes went beyond test scores. I remember names instantly. I can hold complex conversations without losing my train of thought. I remember everything my grandkids tell me about their lives, which has deepened our relationships in ways that bring me to tears sometimes. I can read a book and actually retain what I read the next day. I can give directions without getting confused. I feel like myself again, like the man I was before the fog started rolling in. My doctor now recommends this exact protocol to every patient over 65 who shows any signs of cognitive decline. He's seen it work for others, not just me. He told me that if this were a pill, pharmaceutical companies would charge $500 a month for it, but because it's just food, most people don't take it seriously until they see someone like me reverse what they thought was irreversible. I'm sharing this with you because I know there are people watching who are terrified by their own memory slips, who see the same decline in themselves or someone they love, who feel helpless and hopeless. I want you to know that decline is not inevitable. Your brain has remarkable capacity to heal and regenerate when you give it the right raw materials consistently over time. If you want to protect your brain and maybe even reverse cognitive decline that's already started, subscribe to this channel right now. In the next video, I'm sharing something that could give you clarity and hope about aging. If this story resonated with you or gave you a specific action to take, leave a like so more people can find this information. Tell me in the comments, have you noticed memory changes in yourself or someone you love? What's the most frustrating thing you've forgotten recently? I read every comment because your experiences help me know I'm not alone, and they might help someone else feel less alone too. Live long, live strong. I'll see you in the next one.